Hey guys, so you may have seen me use this preset or this rack a few times in my live streams, and I know a lot of people have been asking for it, so I'm going to briefly show you how I made this rack, and I will also provide you with a download which you can grab now in exchange for following my socials, or you can get it through my Patreon, which I've linked in the description below. Okay, so what you'll need to load up this rack is Ableton Live 11, Silent 1, Valhalla Supermassive, and VintageVerb. Okay, so I'm just going to turn off the effects and the rack, and we can hear the preset at its core. Also, shout out to Inamo, who gave me a few tips when I was struggling to make this sound initially. That main tip that he gave me that kind of pulled this all together was that the secret sauce was in the filter drive, which I will explain a little bit later in the video. So keep watching. Okay, so if we open up Silent, we can see it's really just two oscillators here. One voice on a saw wave, two voices on a noise wave. The noise wave has a small amount of volume on it, and the saw wave has maximum volume. And then we've got a cutoff filter set to 2.9, no resonance, a bit of drive there, and it's set to 24 dB. Then the filter control is set to 2.347, no resonance, and a bit of key tracking. That's being modulated by mod envelope 2 here, and the decay is set to 4.7, the sustain's at 0, and then it's got a bit of release, which I don't think is doing anything because the sustain's all the way down. Our amp envelope, the decay is set to 6.68, and the sustain's at 2.9 with the release all the way down to 0. So it's kind of like a long plucky shape. And that's pretty much it for the Silent patch. Okay, so starting off we have the wet chain, and I'm just going to solo it. And you can hear this is basically where all the character of the stab comes from. It's the loudest part of it, along with the sub. So let me just take you through all the effects that we have on here. Okay, so first we're using an EQ8 to just cut out the sub and the high end. Then Hot Fuzz is this pedal preset, and you can hear it kind of adds that high end back in, and like a bit of almost like white noise kind of effect to it. And then we go into Stereo Flex, which is widening it, basically using a Haas delay. And then the Supermassive is basically like the way it's set up to be pretty much a reverb. And then EQ8, we're taking out the sub again because all the distortion would have added some sub back in there. And then auto filter is doing quite a lot. The utility and the auto filter go together. That's just compensating for the amount of gain that I've increased by increasing the drive. And if you play with this frequency, you can get a drastically different character out of it. So moving it up to like 6 or 7 kilohertz gets you a very different character to where I had it. Down to 2 kilohertz, you get very different character. So next up is VintageVerb, and that's basically just really like lengthening the reverb and making it brighter, bigger, and then we're bringing it out using OTT here. Then EQ8 over here is just shaping the high end a little bit, so we're bringing out the 2 kilohertz and then cutting out a bit more of the very top end of it, and cutting out a little bit of the low mid-range here. And then utility is just helping balance the left and right. I just felt like moving a little bit more to the left made it feel more equal on both sides. Okay, and then we go into this dry chain, which is essentially the same thing, just without all the reverb. So we've got that EQ8, we've got the auto filter with the drive, the Hot Fuzz preset, cutting out the low end, and then that EQ is on the end of, on the outside of all these chains. So basically all of them are going through that EQ. And then the sub over here. Yeah, that's just an EQ cutting out the high end, so we're only getting the pretty much plain saw wave over there, and that's all that's really on that channel. And then I've got these macros where you can control the level of everything. So if you wanted to maybe separate out the sub from this chain and make it completely different sub in a different synth or whatever, then you could just turn down the sub. You're getting mostly the mid-range. And then you can turn this back up if you want that sub back in. And then it's just the reverb here, just controlling the amount of reverb. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, if you want to get this, then you can download it now for free by following my Instagram and my Facebook page. The link's in the description for the download. Or you could join my Patreon and you can download it there. And that's available for level 2 patrons and up. And there's also a bunch of other benefits. There's tons of project files and stuff there, so make sure to check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you at the next one.